Hello, good evening. Welcome to yet another session, AMA session. So these sessions happen every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time on my YouTube channel. So normally what I do is I talk on a topic for about 5 to 7 minutes, and then it is open for questions. Okay, and then you can ask questions on the same topic which I had taken, or any other question, and I'll try to answer to my capability. Okay, so today it's in continuation with what we had last week. We had Agni last week. Okay, and this week, okay, so Ask Me Anything weekly sessions, and this is the 86th week. So today it is Agni II. Okay, last time we had Agni, the concept of Agni, and today it's going to be Agni II. So in continuation with what we had last time. So last time we had discussed about the types of Agni, and today we will discuss the importance of Agni. Okay. Now, what's the importance of Agni? Agni Moolam Balam Pumsan. The first line, Agni Moolam Balam Pumsan. Pumsan means for a human being. Balam is strength. Agni Moolam, the Moolam or the root for, or the major foundation, major root for a person's strength is Agni. So Agni contributes to the strength of a person. Agni Moolam Balam Pumsan. Balam Moolam hi Jeevitam. And Jeevitam is life. And for that life, what is the root, main root, what contributes the most? Balam. That means strength. Okay, so the strength of a person is given by the Agni, and that strength is the one that gives a person quality life. So Agni Moolam Balam Pumsan Balam Moolam hi Jeevitam. Now, if the Agni is not good, what happens? Roga Sarvepi Manda Agni. Manda Agni. If the Agni is low, okay, that Agni is not proper, improper, Agni is low. Roga Sarvepi. All the diseases. Sarvepi. Sarva means all. Roga means diseases. All the diseases come to you when your Agni is not proper. Okay. So your strength comes because of Agni, and that strength gives you a proper life. And if the Agni is not proper, you will fall sick. That is how important Agni is. Okay. So when you look at the concept of Agni, the whole of Ayurveda revolves around the concept of Agni. And what? Every transformation, every metabolism, every cell has got Agni. And cellular, we call that mitochondria, the powerhouse. That is Agni. So responsible for every metabolic change that happens in the body in each and every cell. And this Agni, okay, is 13 types, which we saw last time. Okay, 13 Agnis. One is the Jatara Agni. Jatara Agni is the one which is in the abdomen, which takes care of the food. And then you have got the Bhuta Agni. Bhuta Agni is the Agni which body being made of the Pancha Mahabhutas. It has to convert the food which we eat. The food, a food is a foreign body, so it has to convert the food which we eat into something which the body can digest. That is the job of Bhuta Agni. Okay, and Dhatu Agni, you have got 7 Dhatu: Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Meda, Asthi, Majja, and Shukra. So Rasat Raktam Tado Mamsa. In order, from Rasa, Rakta, from Rakta, Mamsa, from Mamsa, Medas, that is how the Dhatus are, what I call nourished and created. So Rakta comes from Rasa, Mamsa comes from Rakta. So when one Agni is good, if the Rasa Agni is not good, what happens there is the Rakta Dhatu is not good. If the Rakta Dhatu Agni is not good, then you will not have good Mamsa Dhatu. Okay. For the nourishment to travel from one Rasa to the other Rasa, one Dhatu to the other Dhatu, it has to go seamless. Okay. So, and that travel for the Rasa, from the Rasa Dhatu all the way up to Shukra Dhatu, is called Rasayana. Ayana means travel. So the travel of Rasadhatu all the way from Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Meda, Asthi, Maj, and Shukra is as simple as that. That is the easiest way of understanding Rasayana. If that happens seamlessly and each and every dhatu is being nourished on the way, then that becomes Rasayana. Okay, so that's basically about Agni. And a lot of every activity we do, for example, sleeping is to see that the Agni is balanced. If you don't sleep at night, what happens? Your pitta goes up, your vata goes up. If you sleep too much in the afternoon, your kapha goes up, the Agni becomes manda. So every activity you do, taking a shower, if you take a shower immediately after food, your Agni goes down. If you take a shower otherwise, you would have noticed that if you're in a swimming pool and you are in the water for about half an hour, 45 minutes, you come out extremely hungry. Okay. Snanam, Deepanam Ayushyam. Snanam increase the Agni. Agni Deepti happens. Same thing. So, why are you taking a shower? To take care of your Agni. Exercise. Laghavam Karma Samarthyam Deepto Agni. Agni Deepana happens with exercise. So, why are you exercising? Again, to take care of your Agni. Agni is taken care of. If you exercise immediately after food, you'll have a problem. If you exercise during the afternoons, you'll again have a problem. So everything you do, you're eating food depending upon your Agni, drinking water depending upon your Agni. So everything you do is to protect the Agni. That is why when you look at the Pancha Mahabhutas, you have got the Akasha Vayu on the top, and you have got Prithvi and Jala in the bottom, and you have got Agni in the middle. Agni is always there in the middle, which has to be protected. Okay, so you can start asking your questions. Let me see. Questions have already started coming. Let me go up and see. Good evening, Tejeshwaramurthy. Yes. Your workshop in New York was incredible. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Are tofu and tempeh compatible with an Ayurvedic approach or source of protein on a vegan diet? Okay. I would say there is nothing called bad or good foods here. And if you're looking for vegan protein, I think yes, tofu is actually a good choice. But you have only have to analyze first whether you need that kind of protein or not. Pulses are also a very good source of protein. Okay, so being vegan, pulses would be very good for you. And yes, tofu or soya, stuff like that are also good for you. But protein has got another problem. Protein can also lead to indigestion. Protein is not easy to digest. Just like muscle. Muscle is protein. Muscle is not when consumed. Meat is not easy to digest. Any protein is not easy to digest, and it can release a lot of gas also. So you should be aware about that and see if that suits you or not. Okay, that is very important. I would say eat moderately. Don't eat tofu on a regular basis. Okay, eat once in a while. Eat pulses. Keep on changing the pulses. Don't mix pulses. So I think it's a good choice, but be moderate about things. Okay, see that it doesn't lead to indigestion. Hi, Kamalnath. Yes, good evening. Good evening, Kamalnath. Doctor, I remember about topics of MMA being finished. Common kitchen spices, food items, vegetable fruits, 1 week or one item. I know, yeah. We can think about that. Yes, kitchen spices. We can definitely talk about that. A few kitchen spices we can take and talk about that, how to use it in different, try to understand its properties, and then yes, how to use those. Yep. Okay, vegetable fruits, 1 week, one item. Thanks for that, Kamalnath. Where are we? Brief talk on its aerial properties, healing properties, if any, when should be consumed, we should avoid, etc. Last info you gave about jackfruit seed was never heard before and useful. Thanks a lot. Okay, but the thing is that, I'll tell you, Kamalnath, why I don't touch about treatment normally. Right, rather in my, neither in my, Instagram reels or videos, I don't talk about a disease and a treatment, because people sometimes latch on to the herbs or the formulations which a doctor mentions on a channel or on a public platform, and then they apply that without knowing whether it suits them, their condition. A lot of things have to be looked into, right? So that's one reason why, principle, I don't uh, describe or give prescriptions online. Herbs and all those things, yes, I can talk about their properties and all, when and how to take and all those things. Sometimes becomes extremely confusing, because for some people it can be taken on empty stomach, some people before food, some people along with food, some people after food. So that can keep on changing. Okay, so it's a good idea. So let me see and let me think as to how I can bring it out. Okay, thanks for that, Kamalnath. Oh, you're giving me a lot of suggestions today. Another suggestion is grandma remedies. Yeah, cold, headache, joint pain. This is what I said. If I start giving these, you apply it sometimes. Yeah, because grandma also never used to give one, a solution for, so if headache. She doesn't give you one solution. She was so good at trying to understand whether it is because of congestion, or whether it is because you have gotten dehydrated, or whether you are hungry or you are angry. Depending upon that, they used to treat. So treatment is something which is not very easy, Kamalnath, to give on YouTube channel. Okay. If summer weakens Agni, then according to that logic, bathing in cold water after meal should increase Agni, right? That is actually a good question. So if you look at what happens, if the Agni is not being put into use, listen to me very carefully, okay? So when you are on an empty stomach and you get into water, your body cools down extremely, and you see that the Agni actually travels inside and you feel extremely hungry. That means when you take a shower on empty stomach. But when you take a shower after food, the Agni is already working there. It's working overtime. So the moment you get into water, okay, Agni, see, here what happens is, when you're on empty stomach, Agni gets trapped here. Okay, so only Agni Deepanam happens when you take a shower. It is not Pachanam. It does not help it digest. So look at the shloka itself. Snanam Deepanam. It's not Snanam Pachanam. Deepanam and Pachanam are two different things. Having hunger, you have noticed patients we get, patient has the appetite, he feels hungry, but when he eats, he's not able to digest. So, Deepanam, that means Agni Deepti, having appetite, feeling like eating is different from being able to digest. So when you take a shower on empty stomach, your hunger actually goes up. You feel like eating, while taking a shower after food will not help the food digest. It slows down your metabolism, equal to sleeping. Okay, you have your food and immediately go to bed. What happens is your digestion actually slows down. Okay. Consuming a lot of jamun fruit increase Agni. Not exactly. If you eat too much, okay, it does not. But in little quantities, yes. But jamun is not something which is extremely hot. Okay, so it will not. Yeah, it will help you feel hungry a little bit, but it's not something which will increase your appetite beyond a certain limit. It will not kill your appetite, but if you eat too much, like we say, if people ask whether this is heavy or this is light, it all depends upon, if you take something which is heavy in very small quantities, it will easily digest. But if you take something which is very light, okay, but if you take it in large quantities, that becomes difficult to digest. So it all depends upon the amount, the quantity you consume also. Okay, but jamun by and large, if you take, it's not something which will increase your Agni too much. Yeah, Priya, good evening. Yes, Desha, I got that. Yes, we got that. I have a question for those who are leading a hectic work life, and by early evening they feel exhausted and tired, feel like having a cup of tea, empty stomach. Their Agni will get disrupted. Yes. You know, everything you do will have an effect. So when you are extremely tired, and when you want to drink that coffee or that tea, you feel suddenly energized, isn't it? So, do you think that coffee is actually giving you that much of energy? It's something which you have to think. What calories does black coffee, say for example, black coffee if you take, what calories do you think black coffee can actually give you? But what coffee does is same thing happens with Red Bull also. Okay, you consume Red Bull in the evening, you feel you're all active, and what actually happens is, it's just like, how do I put it? Coffee is just like a credit card. Okay, that means you are using a credit card and buying something. That means you have already paid. Have you paid? You have not paid. But actually speaking, you have done that transaction to get the whatever you want to buy. But you are at the payment for that can actually come later. You can pay it later. Likewise, when you drink coffee, okay, the energy which you were supposed to spend later, or the reserve energy which you have in your body, is tapped into and taken out by the coffee. So that's the reason why you suddenly feel active. Okay. And when the effect of the coffee goes down, you feel extremely tired because you've already used up the energy which you were supposed to use later. So coffee is not giving energy. Coffee is only getting into your reserve energy and using it. Okay. So definitely you're not only your Agni, the whole nourishment of the body goes down. Somebody who consumes coffee or tea on a regular basis in large quantities. Small quantities here and there, I think the body will be able to manage. Okay, hope that is clear. Next question. How do we know the Rasadhatu has been properly nourished? Okay, see, Rasadhatu, uh, if you, first of all, if you feel really hungry, and then you are able to eat well, and then you're eating a balanced food, you feel after your food, uh, immediately after your food, you will feel heavy. That is because of the kapha going up. And in no time, might be in a half an hour or 1 hour, you'll start feeling lighter. And in 2 hours, you will feel light. And when you burp, you don't get the taste of food. Okay. Uh, and then by next meal time, you are hungry. All these are simple things. And after that, once the rasa dhatu is there, from rasa it is divided into rasa, sara, and kitta. Kitta is the waste, and if you're passing your bowels, your motions, your urine and your sweat and all are functioning really well, then you will really know that your rasa dhatu is properly nourished. Okay. And again, your energy levels, you can't feel tired always and feel that, so a lot of factors, but these are the very few things which you can bear in mind to know whether your Rasadhatu has been nourished or not. Okay. Niti, for sticky cough treatment along with Dashmulakartran Gasha, you have suggested to have Talsapatra with honey. Okay, so this is again treatment, but still I'll tell you, if you look at where many people go wrong as far as Ayurvedic treatments go, especially for doctors also, I would say. When you look at cough, the frequency of medicine administration has been mentioned as muhur muhu. That means multiple times. So, generally speaking, for cough, it is always good for you to consume quarter teaspoon of this mixed with honey. Talisapatra churna mixed with honey, quarter teaspoon every hour. It is not one teaspoon, half teaspoon after breakfast, after lunch, after dinner. Don't look at the modern way of giving medicines. There is something called Aushadha Sevana Kala. Aushadha means medicine, Sevana is consuming, Kala means time. Time to consume medicine. There have been 10 times that have been told in Ayurveda, and when you consume the same medicine in 10 different times, the effect of that medicine, general effect is definitely going to be there, but the system or where the site of action changes. Okay, so Talisapatra Churna, if you are taking it for cough, then it has to be taken every 1 hour. If Talisapatrai churnam is being taken for what? If you're taking Talisapatrai churnam for increasing your appetite, then that should be taken along with food. Got it, right? So Talisapatrai churnam is not only, and if you're taking some that for actually increasing your appetite, or sorry, taste, then that should be taken on empty stomach in the morning. So Talisapatrai churnam can also be given in different ways. If it is for cough, it has to be given multiple times. Okay, this is too much of theory for you people. Just drinking amla powder in warm water 2 hours before is a good action for an 87-year-old person. I would say, if you can get hold of fresh amla whenever you can, okay, and if you can preserve it by putting in salt water, the brine you create in salt water, and preserve it for a year, and consuming one amla every day from that would be the best thing for you. Okay, and I understand that amla is something which, according to Rasayan, is one of the best rasayanas, and it has been mentioned that you can consume amla on a daily basis. But there is also one other fruit which is extremely good, which is available most part of the year, and that also can be consumed on a daily basis. That is pomegranate. Okay, it is also sour, and it's also amla rasayan taste. It also helps your Agni go up, but it is not as good a rasayani as amla. So rather than having a powder, I would say if you can get the fruit, it will be good, or maybe half a teaspoon of the powder. 87-year-old, okay. So you can have it with warm water, or you can also mix it with a little bit of ghee and lick it. That also is a good way of having it. But keep an eye on what the amla is doing for you. Sometimes it can lead to soft bowels. Okay. Sometimes it can also lead to indigestion. So keep an eye on what is happening and then do accordingly. But fresh amla is always the good, or amla soaked in salt water. You can pick one and have it every day. But to know more about 5 Bhutagnis and 7 Dhatu Agni, any recommended book? I would say Charaka Samhita is a book where you can actually go through that. Even though Bhutagni has not been mentioned too much in detail, Dhatu Agni has been mentioned. Okay. Bhutagni's job, it works along with the Jataragni. Okay, because whatever food you eat is also made of Pancha Mahabhutas. So that is a foreign object. Okay, which anything that comes from outside is foreign. So the moment it goes inside, the Jataragni and the Bhutagni works on it at the same time, and then whatever is needed for the body as far as the Pancha Mahabhutas go, that Panchabhuta Agni acts on that and gets that specific Mahabhuta of the body nourished. That is the job of the Pancha Mahabhutas. Charaka Samhita actually explains this pretty well. I've noticed my breath has become shallow. What is the cause for it? I would say, your lung capacity is one reason why you feel shallow breathing. Sometimes your mental state, you might be anxious, you might be angry, or that also could be one contributing factor. Otherwise, if you've got breathing issues like asthma or stuff like that, then also it becomes shallow. But otherwise, if you don't have any of these issues and you still feel that your breathing is shallow, then I think you have to do a little bit of exercise to strengthen all the intercostal muscles, and improve your lung capacity, and voluntarily try to breathe really well in, hold it. So it's not only Puraka is filling it. See, any pranayama happens in 3 stages: Puraka, Kumbhaka, and Rechaka. Pura is filling it, and Kumbhaka is holding it, and Rechaka is letting it out. So you breathe in, take your own time, slowly breathe in, okay, and you should sit straight with your chest expanded. Then only the lungs will get enough space for it to expand. Sometimes shallow breathing is because you might be always slouching. So it's all compressed here. So when if you want to really get fresh, we say, when you're sitting in office and you're feeling slightly tired, we say, reach for the sky, okay, reach for the walls. That means you're stretching yourself really well and take a few deep breaths so that you fill your lungs. So the lungs also need a little bit of space for it to, expand. So all these things will definitely help you. See, sometimes something might be bothering you that's getting very shallow. Look into that too. When I eat soya chunks, I get gassy every 15 minutes. So it does not suit me genetically. Need not be genetically. People who consume a lot of meat or a lot of soya or paneer or whatever it is, eggs or something, if they are not somebody who does a lot of exercise, it is very difficult for these proteins to get digested. That's one reason why you are getting too much of gas. Soya is not, I don't think soya is somebody which anybody is genetically used to eating. So don't be too worried. Don't overeat that. And if it's causing too much of a problem, then regulate the consumption of soya. Okay. Niti, any treatment for vaginal dryness that you may suggest, please? First of all, why is it getting dry is something which we have to try to understand. Are you dehydrated, or is there some infection? Is that the main reason why the vagina is getting dry? Or age is also a factor. Probably after certain age, might be 50 plus. Normally we say, when women post menopause, it so happens that it slowly starts getting drier and drier. So until and unless we don't know what the reason is, we might not be able to handle it. But generally, what we tell people is to, if for a dry vagina, we tell them to consume ghee in plenty, okay, so that after a point of time, each and every cell start getting the lubrication. Even the cells in the lining, vaginal lining cells will also start getting lubrication, and it will start getting lubricated. Okay. One other thing what you can do is, can be either just sesame oil or even dhanvantram tailam. You can dip a cloth in it, and then you can put it inside the vagina. Okay, so sesame oil also is enough. So what happens is that whole area starts getting lubricated. So as far as Ayurveda goes, the opposite of dry, I was telling last week also, opposite of dry is not wet. Dry is lubrication. Okay, and see that you do a little bit of exercises. And I would say, it will be always good for you to go and consult a doctor also regarding this. So as per Ayurveda, cold or chill food items are not recommended, or it's okay to consume them once in a while, like cold coffee, ice cream. Not that I'm desperate to eat, but want to be sure. Priya, see, it's not good, bad, or ugly, anything. But if you know your limits, and nothing happens overnight. Okay, just because you go and consume one cold coffee or you take an ice cream maybe once a month or once in 2 3 months, it's not going to affect your health really, to that extent. I would say feel free. Don't feel too guilty about things. Don't do things consecutively. So if you want to go and have a cold coffee or an ice cream, go ahead and have it. Enjoy. Okay, don't overthink about all those things, but don't indulge in all these things too much. That's what I would say. Okay, because your body is sensible enough, and being a part of nature, its natural tendency is to stay healthy. Okay, so if you keep on doing things consistently and throwing it off track consistently, then it will go off track. But by and large, you're very disciplined. Once in a while, you keep on doing all these things. Body is not that sensitive. It will definitely keep you healthy. Don't worry. Which breathing exercise is good to increase metabolic Agni and Jagini? Anulom Vilom is something which is very good. Okay, so you do that, it will actually increase your Agni. But I would always say that those are all exercises which you can do. But generally, being aware about your own breathing is very important. Apart from that, there's nothing else. See, breathing is something all animals do, even humans also do. Then why did we try to find out techniques to start breathing. Some there are some yogis who say that there are no techniques. You just sit yourself silently and then be aware about your breathing, slow breathing, holding it for some time and slowly letting it out. I think, in my opinion, that is more than enough. Breathing is only one part which will help your Agni, but apart from that, your food, your lifestyle, and a lot of other things also influence Agni, right? So breathe the right way, good, but look at other factors also. Can regular practice of Surya Bhedana, Pranayama, and Agnisara Kriya help increase Agni in the body? What benefits can be expected from consistent practice? Aditya, I am not aware of Surya Bhedana Pranayama, first thing, and Agnisara Kriya is also something which I'm not aware of. Okay, I'm not an expert, and I don't really don't know what they do to the body. But from the words, Surya Bhedana and Agnisara, I understand that it is something which will generate a little bit of heat in your system, and it will definitely improve your metabolism. So, but I'm not an expert to comment on this thing, Aditya. Okay, so somebody would have taught you this, and they would have told you how to do it. So in that case, I think you should know how. They would have also told you how it works, right? So if you're under good guidance, go ahead and do it. Okay. What spices were being used before chili came to India from Portuguese? Is chili healthy? See, as I said, there's nothing which is healthy or unhealthy or something like that. So before chili came to India, we had something called black pepper. Okay, and most people who came to India, especially to the south of India, to Cochin, okay, were for the black pepper, and there are instances where people have they dug up when they have dug up what I call mummies and all those things. 3000, 4000, that means 2000 years before Christ, 2000 BC. They have found pepper in their graves, and that pepper is from the Malabar pepper. So trade between India, especially even South India, different parts, South India, I mean, Kerala was number one for pepper, still number one for pepper as far as the South India goes. So pepper was the one that was being used for spices. Okay, long pepper was there, dry ginger was there, but pepper was also called black gold. Next one. Why someone, where is it? I'm not able to put it there. Oh, okay. I'm not able to put this question over there. I don't know why. Something wrong. I think you can hear me, right? It's okay. So Tejashri Murthy is Can you see me? Can, right? Why sometimes Saindhalavana is suggested to be taken with Ayurvedic medicines? What does it do? See, if you see, can you? I hope you can hear me. Okay. If you hear Lavana in the text, it always means Saindava Lavana. And Saindava Lavana is supposed to be the superior salt as far as Ayurveda goes. Even though there are other salts mentioned, Saindava Lavana, which is from the Sindhu Nadi basin, is considered to be the best. That is why in all medicines, okay, all medicines, it is only Saindava Lavana. Or they have to specifically mention Samudra Lavana or other Lavana, okay, Bida Lavana or other things. Otherwise, it is always Saindava Lavana. And okay, I'll tell you, all salts are something which it's got Agni Mahabhuta in it, and it generates a lot of heat. And salts are not good for the eyes. But Saindhavana is the only salt which is not bad for the eyes, and it does not increase the heat of the body. My husband always asks for a cup of milk tea or coffee in the early evening. How can this habit be reversed, doctor? Any replacement? Okay, so I think he is happy drinking that, probably. Okay, so you can, the first thing what you can do is, rather than stopping coffee or tea for him, milk tea or milk coffee for him in the early evening, I would say first try to reduce the quantity of the coffee or tea which he takes. Make it half a cup. After a point in time, slowly reduce the concentration of tea and coffee in it. The sense how strong you make it. Slowly, after a point of time, he can easily leave it. There is nothing like a substitute for something. If you want, it can be black tea or black coffee, something. It can be anything. It can also be a green tea or a herbal drink, something else. But I would say to wean him off, as Ayurveda says, you if you are used to something, if you want to come out of it, remove 1/4 of it first initially, then remove next 1/4, then next 1/4, and then next 1/4. Don't suddenly stop it, because it might create a problem for him. So I would say reduce the quantity first, then reduce the strength of the coffee, and then slowly cut it down. Okay. What imbalance has occurred? There's no food burps, but still the food hasn't digested properly. Then there is definitely a lot of kapha and ama, and very seldom that actually digests well. Okay, so that is not a good sign when you feel really heavy and after food, and you know that your food has not digested. Okay, that is excessive kapha in the system. That means you have got manda agni, and that is one major reason. Sarve roga. Okay, Sarve roga bhi mande gano. It is because of manda agni that you get most of the disease. That's something which can create a lot of ama. Okay, so immediately you have to take something digestive, take fasting, cut down on the amount of food you eat. All those precautions you have to take. Yeah, welcome. Agni is weak in rainy season. We notice people eating fried food in the evening time, but as per Ayurveda, it is Viruddha, right, doctor? No. See, fried food have come up. Yes, people do eat a lot of fried foods during the rainy season. It's a part of tradition. One way, if you look at it, Chaya Prakopa Prashama Vayo Grishma Dishu Trishu. Vayu in Grishma, in summer it attains Chaya and it attains Kopa, or it really is high. Vata is extremely high during the rainy season. Okay, that is the reason why your appetite is unpredictable during the rainy season. So when Vata is extremely high, something which can actually pacify Vata is hot and oily. I'm not for fry things, but something which is hot and oily can actually pacify Vata, and you feel really good if you take that hot, fried thing in the evening, especially when it is raining outside. So it basically counterbalances the vata, but what happens is, if you overdo it or go overboard, then it can cause indigestion. Then it is not good. But otherwise, I don't think it is extremely viruddha. You should be aware as to what's happening, because in the rainy season the water really goes up, and that is why in Kerala, that the season is basically called Karkataka season. Okay, Karkada Masam. That's when it rains very high and the vata is very high, and that is why we have got Karkataka treatment in Kerala. Okay, where that the vata has gone up, that is a time where you get admitted into hospital and you go through the panchakarma, or the body will be dipped in oil. You'll be dipped in oil. Oil, heat it throughout the rainy season, so that your vata is under control. So I don't want you to go overboard with that, but once in a while is fine during the rainy season because it takes care of the vata. Good evening, Ramesh Maharaj. My father, around the age of 20, without doing anything, became brown skin to white skin. He also became from very thin to muscular. Body type, see, body type is different from your prakriti. Okay, his prakriti is decided at the time of birth. Perfectly true. But without doing anything, became brown skin to white skin is something, something would have happened to him, something that would have created an imbalance in. I don't know what you mean by extremely white skin. Is it leukoderma or something? I don't know. Or he became fairer is what you mean. I don't know. Probably, he was fair when he was born, and over a period of time he became tanned or something, then he would have become fair again. Okay. And he became thin to muscular in the sense, I don't know whether he really built up a lot of muscles, or he ate and became, whether it's fat or it is muscular. it, what I'm trying to tell you is the nature of a person, being physical or mental, whatever he is, it is decided at the time of birth, and it continues till death. But as you go through your life in this society, okay, you will get used to a lot of things will start influencing you. You'll start to behave in a different way, but your innate nature, your prakriti, we call that, doesn't change. Please guide me to get mental clarity. Okay, Ramesh Maharaj, I just, first of all, okay, it is very important for us to understand what is causing the unclarity, okay, in your mind. Why is it not clear? Is it because of what is happening in your personal life, or in your business, or in your work, or a neighborhood or politics, whatever? There might be some reason why you are not clear in your mind. Okay, that has to be addressed first. After that, I would say, if you can keep in mind your the food what you consume. If you're consuming good, nutritious food in small quantities at right time, okay, and then decent exercise, you have to have decent exercise, and you are well rested. I always focus on these three things. Okay, then you will know why, what is going wrong. And as far as, any for any mental issue, there will be a lot of heat generated in the body. Pitta would be high for you, so I want that pitta to go down. Probably, for the pitta to go down, you should take some steps. It could be drinking at least maybe 200 ml of milk twice daily, so that your body cools down a little bit and you pass soft bowels. The moment, if you're constipated, the heat of the body goes up and your mental clarity goes down. If you pass motions really well, that means your pitta is going down, okay, and your vata is also going down. You will have kapha. For clarity of mind, you have to have a little bit of kapha in your mind. Okay, so that is what we have to. Otherwise, I think if you can consult somebody regarding this, also will be good. First, try to understand what is causing your disturbance. Otherwise, it's very difficult for you to handle that. Does Ayurveda have insights regarding why and how life started from dead molecules? No, Ayurveda doesn't say that all molecules are dead. Okay, dead molecules come from modern science. Okay, so we believe that everything has got life. Okay, life is not about whether it can move or not. If it can, any molecule, look, it emits some sort of energy or vibration, right? That is life, right? So Ayurveda does not believe that molecules, or so-called molecules, are all dead. Okay, life comes from life, and everything has got life. I feel like eating sweet fruits, especially mangoes these days, post my exercise in the morning. Is it fitting doctor or not recommended. The reason why you mango seasons, yes, you see a lot of mangoes, and mangoes are very tempting. But what is happening with you is probably you are doing a lot of exercise or over exercise. I'm not sure that you are burning a lot of calories, and the immediate replacement for calories is sweets. Okay, immediate. So you should be aware, or you should beware that when you're doing exercise, you might be burning about say about 1,000 calories. But if you consume a couple of mangoes, you will immediately put those calories back. So it might not be a very good idea to one piece of mango and all those things are fine. Bananas give a lot of calories because it's sweet, and it is sweet gives immediate calories. You would have seen, or chocolates give you immediate calories. You would have seen, especially sports people, tennis especially. You'll see when during their breaks, they see that they bite into the banana or they eat a piece of chocolate. Instant energy. So when you do exercise, your energy level goes down, and you are looking for instant gratification by having those mangoes. Might not be a good choice. Okay, have a piece, let it go. How to boost nerve health. See, nerves are not something which are separate as far as the body goes. Okay, so it's like, how to improve muscle strength, how to improve fat. Everything is good for the body. Let us take the body as a whole. Okay, so if you physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, and if you are all in a, by and large, in a balanced state, you will have health. Okay, and when you specifically mention nerve health, I'm not very sure whether some particular nerve has been affected, the sciatic nerve or the vagus nerve, or some if some nerves have been affected, then that's a different treatment altogether. Otherwise, when the nourishment to the whole body actually is proper, then why wouldn't the nerves actually get strong? Okay, there is no reason. No, if you have got some disease or something, that's a different thing. Otherwise, generally, if you take care of your body really well, 100% sure your health is taken care of. Okay, the nerves will become strong also. What happens if you eat too much salty food every time? Salty food will increase the Agni beyond a certain limit. Okay, and it will see that because of that heat, the drava quantity, the water content of your body reduces. You will get dehydrated. You will have hair loss also. Okay, because the pitta is going up, and it will lead to poor eyesight. Lot of things can happen if you take too much of salt. Not very good. Okay. I'm taking fast by taking pomegranate juice diluted with water. Yeah, it's actually a good idea, Gary, but I would say if you have got uh, pomegranate, if you've got access to pomegranate fruit, it's always good to consume the fruit rather than getting the juice. Okay, because in juice, what happens is you squeeze the fruit, and you know what, the extract of the juice, which we think is the best, comes into your glass. But it could be only 60%, 40%. Suppose tomorrow somebody says the best part of the pomegranate is in the thing what you throw out after you get the juice, then it becomes really bad. So I always tell people, don't drink apple juice, don't drink orange juice, don't drink pomegranate juice, no amla juice. Rather eat the fruit. Okay, because the fruit as such, it's got a lot of other things which are thrown when we just take only the juice. Okay, so as a fruit, I would say, Gary, if you've got access to that, you can have it completely. But good, if you feel it is difficult to digest, diluting it with water, adding a pinch of salt, and a little bit of dry ginger also will help it digest better. Does bad sitting posture affect Agni, or bad Agni affect sitting posture? Both ways, but the first one is more important. If you don't sit in the right way, Definitely. See here, don't think that Agni is only the one that is digesting your food. As I said, you have got 13 Agnis. You also have the Agni in your belly, and you also have got the Dhatu Agni, which is there in each and every cell. So if you sit in a wrong position, for some time, what happens is the muscles or the soft tissues in that area, they go into spasm, and then they try to pull the skeleton. Okay, it can be a spine or it can be any part of the body. Then you, that is how most people get disc prolapse, not because they fall or they have accidents. One disc is below the other, you have got muscles attached to it. They're sitting in a wrong position for some time, that muscles go to spasm and they are attached to the spine. They keep on pulling the spine resists, and after a long point of time, when this continuously happen, after a point of time, the spine that spine will say, now I cannot withstand that, and poof, poof, you get a disc prolapse. Disc prolapse need not be for people who fall down or who do wrong traveling, and no, it can happen to people who sit in wrong positions for a long time. Okay, so everything, as I said, everything is cumulative. You keep on adding one after the other, it can lead to problems. Okay, so that then what happens? So when you're in wrong position, your muscles are all in a different. So the Agni in the muscle, okay, is affected. So Agni is affected when you sit in the wrong position. How, doctor, how people who eat less protein have good amount of muscle? uh, it's a straight question. My father or my uncles have never consumed protein the way people have been asked to eat protein right now. Neither my grandfather. All of them are pretty healthy. Okay, so why are we consuming so much of protein is a question which you have to ask yourself. Don't ask me. Okay, is it, I would say, there's a lot of business thing happening where they're promoting protein. Clear, in my mind, I'm very clear. So I don't want you to eat too much of protein. But if you're somebody who wants to do a lot of bodybuilding and building huge muscles, and you see, bodybuilding and all is not, it's not exercise, it's a sport. You'll have to have so much of chicken and that and this and whey and all those things to build that kind of muscle, which anyway is not healthy. So having a six pack, a designer body, that's not about health. It's a different kind of thing. So if you want to stay healthy, have a little bit decent amount of protein, okay, and then stay active. You will have good muscles. It need not be big muscles, but the muscles which you have got in the body are actually toned and strong. Next week also we'll ask you questions, Ami. Please don't change. You can ask questions on Agni. If I get a different topic, I will talk on that topic, but you can still ask your questions on Agni. So there are no restrictions on what questions you can ask. I'll talk on any topic. That's why we say the session is called AMA, Ask Me Anything. Okay. I will talk on a topic. If you want, you can ask on that topic or you can ask any question. Priya. So no problem. Okay. Peace be with you all forever. Wow. What's the regional amount of protein for daily life? Absolutely no idea, and it cannot be fixed. That's what people do. If you are 100 kilograms, then you should have 100 grams of protein per day. I'm not for it. I don't want to buy that. And they also say, if you are 170 centimeters tall, then your weight should be 70 kilograms. See, BMI and all those things. You see, those can be slight guidelines, but if you look at, see, when we talk about Ayurveda, individualistic, generally a predominantly Vata person will be slightly on the thinner side. A Kapha, a Pitta Prakriti person will be medium built, and a Kapha person will be slightly on the plumper side. He is plump and healthy. He is thin and healthy. Okay, you cannot ask him to put on weight, and you cannot ask him to lose weight. Then you are asking them to move away from their Prakriti. Okay, so protein and all those things. As I said before, protein depends upon your requirement. Don't unnecessarily stuff yourself with protein, and protein is something which takes a huge time to digest. It actually destroys your metabolism, so be very very careful about the metabolism intake. No, sorry, the protein intake which you do. And I would say, do a little bit of exercises decently, you'll be able to digest those proteins, but don't unnecessarily, shake, egg white, eggs, chicken, and chickpea. And it's like, you are so obsessed that you're looking how much of protein is there, how much of carbs are there, how much of fat is there, how much of fiber is there. This is food. Let us not measure and have like that. Let us enjoy eating food. Okay. Sir, blood vata dosha is the treatment I was saying. What is blood vata dosha? Vata rakta is a treatment, is a condition in Ayurveda where you have got inflammatory joints, in the sense vata is high, which is also associated with rakta. Yes, and Ayurveda can manage it really well. We don't say we can completely cure, but yes, we have got so many cases where people who are on steroids and stuff like that, immunosuppressants have been completely removed of that. Normally you see rheumatoid arthritis, we can classify them as rakta vata. Yes, Ayurveda can manage it really well. Maida cannot be snigdha. Maida is ruksha. Maida, in the sense, uh, see, it's not about whether it is good or bad. It is very tasty. Let me put it that way, because the Kerala parota, Malabar parota is basically made of maida, and I like it. But the thing is, I make sure that I don't eat it too frequently. So it is not whole meat. It is processed wheat. So it is not snigdha. It is by and large more ruksha than snigdha. Is roasted papad good or fried papad good? Papad itself is not something which is very good for your kind information. Okay. So I would say, if among the good or bad, probably the one roasted would be better than the fried one. Okay. It's by and large, it is not a good, not a healthy one. So papad and all those things, if you look in those days also, it never used to be a part of a daily household. Functions, festivals, you'll get one or two papad. And when does function festivals happen? Might be once a month or once in 2 months. Now, everyday festival, every day you go out, you're eating papad. That is not good. Yeah, welcome, Priya. I like boiled corn. What are its properties? Corn is something which has got a lot of fiber, and it depends upon whether it's sweet corn or fresh corn or dried corn. You know, property wise, if you look, it is something which is not extremely easy to digest, but if cooked, as you said, boiled corn and even sweet corn, it is something which can give you a lot of instant energy because it is madhura rasa. Okay, and it is not easy to digest. It can also increase your vata because it can increase a little bit of gas too. But otherwise, it is healthy to have, and especially areas where it grow. Normally, this is a season and it grows more in areas which are slightly on the colder side. Okay, so it actually suits you people better rather than people like me who live in the south of India. How to know the exact prakriti percentage of three doshas in our body? I would say, there are a lot of quizzes which are available online. You can go through that and try to find out. But the best thing for you to do is to get to a doctor, sit with him. Okay, because it's not only about those questions, it's a lot of questions which the doctor can ask you. Okay, and then you'll be able to get to your prakriti. Okay, knowing your prakriti is very important, and then you'll know where you have deviated from, and for a doctor also how to get you back to that is also important. Okay, yeah, thank you. So we come to an end. It's almost an hour. Okay, so good night and see you next week with another topic. Okay, bye bye.